Today we are looking at Mission 6 from the chapter approved book in this little mini series to help you win with your Necrons. And it's coming right up.
Necrons!
Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, today we are looking at Mission 6, the Strike Force mission, the Scouring. So we are going to be looking at the deployment, we're going to be looking at secondaries, and we are going to be looking mainly from a Necron point of view. So let's have a look at the deployment map and do it. Okay, so this is the map. So once again, we are playing hammer and anvil, so the long table edges. And all 5 objectives are in no man's land, so not a single objective in your home quarter, in your deployment zone. In your deployment zone. DZ, yeah. So the primary is 4 for 1 objective, then you get 8 for 2, and you get 12 if you hold more. So obviously you're going to be looking to get into the centre. This one here is going to be the key objective.
Yes.
And of course moving up with some units here.
Yes.
Now personally I would be looking to have a big blob here to not only go to the centre but also to move out into this area so that my second unit can come up. So basically have 1 unit here and then a secondary unit in the front.
Yes.
To almost like that block the assault.
Yeah. I mean, what I probably would do is again, you're looking at your spacing and doing something like that, and not necessarily depending on terrain, of course. Probably hiding that so you're not getting shot and stuff, and then your second unit is coming back around like that, and you're just giving yourself more sort of. And you've probably got a unit back here. Yeah,
I would suggest, it depends obviously on your list. I mean, yeah. I try to have units specifically designed to block backfield objectives, like 3 scarabs, for example, because obviously when I play you against your orcs, you've usually got the jump, and if you can do that every turn, if you can get into behind me, it really hurts.
I mean, it's possible. What you could do in one like this is. You have your units of flayed ones.
Potentially, yeah.
And you go retrieve your first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Or you have a figurine destroyers. You do your retrieve. Next turn you can move one up if you want, or you keep them there until you know your opponent can't deep strike any longer.
Yeah. And also, I mean, if you've got heavy support, let's say you've got some heavy destroyers or maybe doomstalkers, you can obviously have those at the back as well, blocking.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a cheap, disposable unit that you're not going to use to be scoring much, but you can sit there and waste.
Yeah. And obviously heavy destroyers can potentially do an action, and obviously if you get the command protocols right, you could potentially do the action and still shoot as well. So you could potentially do your R&D with heavy destroyers as well. And of course, I mean, in terms of secondaries, I think this particular one is probably, Stranglehold.
Stranglehold. I'd be looking at Razor Banners at least on your 2, because even if you don't keep that one. You're forcing your opponent, and I personally would be looking at putting a unit there, raising, say, come get me off, boom, then I'm chucking my next unit and making sure you're winning that exchange battle, because in the end, if your say your first unit is a cheap unit of flayed ones, boom, you're then chucking a unit of wraiths. They're not going to get killed. You kill the next unit that comes in to kill the race, and you've killed two units for 1 unit.
Yep.
And you're starting to win that battle on exchange.
I think, as always, Purge the Vermin is going to be a great one for this as well.
Yeah, again, I mean, I'd say Purge the Vermin, and then possibly even Code of Combat. You're looking at, if I've got the Silent King, do I go Purge or a Code of Combat?
Yep.
Now, I like Purge of Vermin as my third secondary, because it's I would say you're guaranteed 8 points a game, and that's not bad for a third secondary.
No.
And then you
and obviously, depending on your list, R&D is another good one, especially for this,
Yeah.
because unless your opponent is doing what I would try to do, block the backfield,
Yeah.
a lot of opponents may necessarily not have the army to do that, and if they're pushing forward for the centre, they might expose their backfield for you to come in with a small unit of flayed ones.
Yeah.
To do R&D.
Again, I like R&D as a third choice thing, because you're going to get a minimum of 8 points.
Yeah.
And in certain games, in the last round, in the last turn, you might be able to get your 12 points.
It's all about building a list that has multiple secondaries.
Yeah, I mean,
for the different missions, because there are certain missions where you just wouldn't take R&D, so you've got to have that backup.
Yeah, I mean, we will go into we've worked out a list of secondaries we think is good for Necrons. I think there's about 8 or 9, isn't there?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple there opponent dependent, but you want your list built around about 6 to 8 secondaries, and then that can score those 6 to 8 secondaries reliably every game.
Yeah.
And then you're just picking it dependent on matchup.
Yeah. And of course it depends how you're doing your army, because a lot of people just play once a week and they know what mission they're playing beforehand, so you can adjust and adapt. Otherwise you might need to build your list for like more of an all-comers, so you turn up on the day and you roll the dice. And then, so you also need to build your list about what type of gaming that you're actually doing as well.
Yeah, and again, I mean, we've got coming up on the end video of this. You've done a list, I've done a list,
yeah.
And they're all comers. This is what if I was playing Necrons at a tournament, this is what I would consider taking to a tournament. I mean, it would depend on the points changes and bits and pieces, but right at this second, as it is, this is what I would consider taking as a Necron list.
Okay, so I hope that was useful to you. We've got all the other videos in a playlist that we've made on these missions, so check out the playlist just there, and we'll see you in the next one.